What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm introducing a brand new project. This is my new old Honda PC50 Moped. Now, apologies if you've been watching the Polo series. There is progress going on with that project. It's actually almost finished. I'd say it's probably only a couple of days worth of work to finish that off and get it ready for the road. I'm sorry I haven't done any more filming on that, but it just wasn't working for me in that space where I was. So once I've got the car finished, I'm going to go through every single thing that I did. I'm going to do a full walkthrough, so if anyone else in the future ever wants to bag their Polo Mark II, they'll be able to watch my video and hopefully learn something from it. So yeah, apologies that hasn't really been happening on the channel recently. On top of that as well, I was away on holiday, so it all just got to a point where I was like, I really just want to get on with this project, so having to think about filming all the time, it was just getting a bit annoying basically. However, with this project, which I have here, things are definitely going to be different. I'm really going to sit down and properly sort out a space for this where I can film with nice and peace and quiet and do a really good series about this bike. So this is the first video, and it will probably change location from here, but this is good enough to get it started. I've actually just got it in my living room at the moment. So I purchased this off Facebook Marketplace. It was pretty local, and I actually used to have a Honda Cub C90 which got stolen, and ever since that got stolen I've always wanted another Cub, but they're just super expensive at the moment. And then I found out about these bikes thanks to one of my friends. Just a little 50cc moped, and they're not as popular as the Cubs by a long stretch, so these are going for quite reasonable prices, I think. So yeah, pick one of these up, and the cost of the bike was £400. So I think that's really cheap, even for the parts alone. Worst case scenario, I could strip this down and potentially sell the parts and at least make my money back. And on top of that, you could probably pay that for a normal push bike as well quite easily. So to get an actual motorbike for £400 is really good. However, now this is the caveat, at the moment I can't get it started. Now that's partly to do with the fact I'm not exactly sure how to start it and the starting procedure, so I've been looking that up this morning and I think I've got a better idea now. There's a few things that I definitely want to change straight away to try and get it running as well. And just to note, yeah, I'm fairly new to motorbikes, so all of the stuff that I'm going to be doing in this, you know, it's the first time for me, and there's going to be a lot of learning for me. So I'm really excited about this project. I think it's going to be really fun, and my plan for it is to turn it into a kind of cafe style looking little moped. Now I'll put a picture up of the inspiration that I saw, and that kind of sealed the deal for me. As soon as I saw the potential of what these can look like, I decided to go ahead and get it. So I'll do a quick tour. Obviously here you can see straight away that it has pedals. It is a moped, and this can be pedaled around really easily. So I've actually had a go, obviously, just pedaling this round, and it feels pretty much like a normal bike. It's very lightweight. There's very little weight on it, so you can quite happily just pedal around with those pedals, which is super fun. Moving around the bike, obviously you've got all your controls up here. There's really not much to this bike at all. So you can see here you've got your gauge cluster. That's just got the miles per hour and the miles that it's done. It says it's done nearly 6,000 miles. Over here, now this is part of the problem that I was having with the bike. This is the decompression lever. And if I pull that, I'll show you down here, hopefully there's enough light. You can see that arm moving there. So what you have to do when you start this up is hold this to decompress it. Pedal and get it up to about 3 miles an hour, it says. You turn the throttle about a quarter, and then you let go of the decompression lever, and that should kick it into action. So I didn't know what this lever did at first. So when I was trying to start it, I definitely didn't know about this. So that could be the reason why it isn't starting. It could just be the fact that I was doing the startup procedure slightly wrong. So that's definitely something I'm eager to try again now today. And yeah, it's got these like high-rise handlebars. They will hopefully be getting changed at some point when I put some new forks on the front, but we'll see how the project goes with the forks, because apart from that, there's not actually that much to do. So changing the forks is probably going to be one of the most major things apart from repainting this. You've got the front fender here, front wheel, very simple stuff, drum brake on the front, little 50cc Honda engine here, air intake. So this air intake, I won't open it up on this video, but it's actually got a kitchen rag inside it, so that's not been done properly. It's been a botched job done on that, but it probably does the job, to be fair. It just keeps the dirt out when it's pulling in air. All I'm going to do for that is get rid of all this and put a little cone filter on the end. It's just easier, and it will look quite nice as well. You've got the fuel line coming down here. Now this isn't in the correct position either. This needs to go in through the frame here. It comes out around the back and then in, so eventually I'll sort that out, but this is getting stripped down, so I'm not going to bother doing that right now. Got a nice big white chain guard here. That's going to be coming off. I'm not going to be having that. Old tax disc holder. That's going to be coming off. You've got the nice rear swing arm here. That'll be getting painted, and the whole of the main frame will be getting repainted as well. I can't decide whether to do that myself yet or just go ahead and get that powder coated, because I think probably getting it powder coated is just going to be a much better option, because it'll be quicker and easier for me, and I'll get a professional finish on it. You got your fuel tank here, and obviously your fuel line. I think it holds 3 litres, which can do 260 kilometres. So that's absolutely crazy to me. So it's going to be very, very cheap to run this bike. And the great thing about this as well is that it's tax and MOT exempt because of its age. So there's really no costs apart from sticking fuel in it and obviously keeping it running. Now, one more thing I need to note about this is that it's also not registered yet. So I have got the frame number on it, etc., and the engine number, but I do need to sort out getting that registered. I've never ever done that before. Hopefully it's fairly straightforward, but we'll see. Yeah, so that's another point. So moving around the back, you've got this kind of parcel shelf here. That's going to be coming off. This whole rear end and the reg plate holder looks pretty cool, but that's all going to be coming off as well. Rear mudguard is going to be coming off, and my plan for this is to have the reg plate here, so it'll be like a side-mounted reg plate and maybe a rear light as well, but I may try and pop the rear light up here once all this is off. And just run it to there instead. So that should be fairly straightforward, and I'll probably swap out the stock one and get some sort of aftermarket one for it. The rear shocks, I'm just going to take the plastic covers off those and have the exposed springs. They'll probably need a bit of love as well, so that'll be something else that needs doing. The wheels as well, you can see that they're pretty dirty, but they're not actually in that bad condition. However, the wheels are either going to be going black or they're going to be swapped for black wheels. Basically, all the components to be black, and then the main frame is going to be a colour, which I'm not sure about yet. I don't really like this orange. It's going to be something a lot more subtle, like a grey or a dark green or a dark blue, something like that. Around the front here, you've got the headlight and the horn, which looks really, really cool. Again, I don't know what will be happening with the whole of this. I envisage that there will be a new headlight, a new aftermarket headlight going on, and I'll probably change the gauge cluster and have something mounted on the handlebars when I've got new handlebars as well. Around the side here, you can see that the spark plug's out at the moment because I'm going to swap that, because I might as well just swap it. That was actually just hand tightened in, so we were able to undo that with our hand when it came, so that could be another issue why it wasn't starting. It might just be lacking compression, so I'm going to get a new plug and put that in, and hopefully then, with the start procedure as well, it should fire up. I'm also going to get some starter spray as well to spray down the carb. The last thing down here, which I think is the only thing left to show you really, is this lever. Now this goes to on and off, and that's basically how you change between wanting to actually ride the bike with the engine and just pedaling. So you just hit that lever and then you get the choice of doing what you want to do. Last thing as well, the saddle is really nice and comfy, and the suspension is very soft on this bike as well. And then underneath you've got the fuel cap and a little supports for the seat as well. It's all there and it ticks over nicely. I just need to get that spark going and get it running. And probably one interesting thing to note before I finish this video off is this is actually a 4-stroke engine as well. So a lot of people will assume that these kind of bikes are 2-stroke engines, I think. A couple of people I've already told about this bike have said, oh, it's a little 2-stroke, and it's like, no, this is a 4-stroke. And the reason for the 4-stroke engines on these little bikes was because apparently Honda, when he was building these bikes, he hated the smoke that 2-strokes make, and he hated the noise as well. So he made 4-stroke engines to be quieter and a little less smoky. So that's why these engines are 4-strokes, which is quite interesting, instead of 2-stroke, which you'd probably expect from a bike of this size. So yeah, that's the introduction to this project, guys. I hope you're excited about this one. I think this is going to be so much better in terms of me filming, because I'm just going to be able to do it like this kind of style, with tripods, with proper lighting like I have here, the studio light. And it's just going to be a much cleaner project that you can follow along, hopefully. And yeah, so apologies about the Polo. That has been going really well, and I'll post a picture of it now. You can see that it's on the floor and all the air suspension is rigged up, basically. The only thing that's left to do with that is to do a complete boot build, which my brother-in-law is going to help me with because he's a carpenter, and I need to torque up all the front end, and it's good to go for an MOT and hopefully be back on the road. Really good timing, just coming into spring, so that'll be really, really exciting stuff. And yeah, and then I can concentrate fully on this. I'll keep the Polo videos coming as well, but the main priority of the channel now is going to be this in terms of restoration stuff. And then I'll drop in videos about the Polo now and again, going out for drives and stuff like that. So yeah, more updates coming soon. I'll be starting to strip this down very, very soon, taking off non-essential items. But the priority for me right now is to try and get this running. If I can get this running, I'll be very, very happy. So I'm off to Halfords now to get a spark plug, and then I'm going to try the new startup procedure, and hopefully I can get it running. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you all in the next video.